Okay, good morning, everybody. I am Sarah Schwartz. We have right now 6 of 9 present, which does give us a quorum. So we're going to get started. It is 9:04, and I call to order the Darien Beautification Commission meeting. It is November 8th, 2023, 9 a.m. or 9:04 a.m., Darien Town Hall. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you. Okay, so first thing that I want to do is review and approve the minutes from October 11th. And we agreed that we would run through those and just make sure that we're all up to speed on what happened last month. So I'm going to jump straight to item number 4. Last month with the treasurer's report, we talked about watering and how Elder's doing some cleanups. He's going to continue charging $30 an hour. And the last 3 gardens will be done soon by Elder. So let's follow up when Tracy comes back to see if she has any information about that. Does anybody know? Oh, great. Hi. Kirsten's here. Hi. We just got started.
I saw Tracy on Friday, and she said that she hadn't heard from Elder on Friday, so she was kind of surprised by that, but he had been working on the gardens because she was going around and looking at the gardens, so that was as of Friday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so I'm just making notes. When Tracy comes in, we're going to ask her about those last 3 gardens, and we're going to ask her about the color of the baskets. And there was another question for her. What was that?
Moving up the
Color
date.
and date up, moving the
Thank
date
you.
forward.
Date forward. Okay, I'm just writing that down so we don't forget when she walks in. Just new budget. Okay, we talked about the new budget last year. I got the paperwork from Town Hall. That is due to them by November 15th. And so Tracy and I have been trying to figure out what we need to add to it, because we definitely need to add to it this year because the new baskets in the Corbin district are going to be on us. We estimate it's going to be around $3,300 for those. So I'm going to ask for more money. And so if anybody else thinks of anything else that we might need money for, I'm going to need that in the next week or so. I just got an email yesterday from Kesty Asa, who runs the Darien Chamber, and she was asking about the flags in town. She said those are being brought down or were just brought down, and she said they're in really awful shape, and she feels that they need to be replaced. So she wanted to have a conversation with me about that. Evidently it falls under Public Works, so I don't know what we need to do about it, but obviously it would be nice for them to look nice, so I'm going to work with either the Chamber or Public Works or whomever to look into the flags. If anybody wants to run with that, feel free. Otherwise, I think it's just a communication, a coordination. We either will ask for more money for it, or Public Works will ask for more money, or maybe even the Chamber. So I don't know where that's going to go, but just so you guys know, that's a discussion that's going to be had.
You probably have the new current count to give Public Works, right, with all the new lamp posts?
We do. Tracy and I added them up. There are 9 extras, and the Corbin project is going to add a couple ones that are on their property. But I don't know, I've never counted the flags or where the flags go, because we have, the basket count is not exact.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So, but we can get to that number, I just don't know it exactly. But yeah, we can get to that. Okay, so in the treasurer's report from last month, new budget, 33 was allocated for this year, so we're gonna have to up that for next year. Tracy will put in a document and share it with me. She and I did that. Donations from Goodwife Shopping Center, the $400 a year discussion. I don't know if there's any update on that. We'll have to ask Tracy.
I have a note that she was going to speak to Sue Oki about it.
Okay. Okay,
Sarah, is that for the roundabout plants?
correct.
Okay, because
Yeah.
they need some, quite serious, they need some attention. If that's our responsibility, that's something we should probably work on
Okay,
ASAP.
okay. All right, great. Let's come back to that in the Adopt-A-Garden.
Okay.
Because, but that's good to know. Last month, we talked about the Green Team meeting. Don't think there's any, wait, yes,
I went to
there
the Green
is. Yes, yes. So
We're
actually, I
talking
have
about
that in our regular agenda.
Okay.
So I know I'm going through these, going through the minutes from last month, so we'll come back to that. Would love to hear about it. Last month, we went through the weeding and pruning updates and the great improvements to the circle. Town hall planters, good morning. Good morning, come on in. We talked about planters, we have that on this month's agenda. We talked about hanging baskets.
Can I ask about the FOIA request?
The
It says
foyer?
that you review all FOIA requests, Freedom of Information Act.
Yes,
Is that
yes.
something new?
Yes, that's right. You weren't here last month. So what we did is we reviewed what the rules are, and I went through actually the guidelines for our commission. Basically, we need to, everything that we have a discussion about has to be in a public forum. So on a camera or in a town hall meeting where people can come if they want to. So this was pertinent because there had been discussions about subcommittees. And so I've reached out to the town regarding subcommittees. And they're not allowed unless they have an agenda that's posted 1 week in advance of the meeting and in a public forum, public setting, like here or even the library. And minutes are taken. So our conclusion was we should probably not have any, unless anybody wants to do that extra work, we should probably wrap everything into our meetings. So we
Understood.
sort of disassembled the subcommittee,
Got it.
basically wrapped everything in. So our meetings will now probably be a tad longer, but we also decided that because so many people are on the subcommittee anyway, it made sense for everybody to be involved. So, yeah, so that's what all that was about. Last month, we discussed the hanging baskets. We discussed the color selection being blue, white, green, and with some moss and maybe some verbena. And we'd like to have them installed a week earlier. Tracy was going to get that order in, and so we'll need to hear from her today. And we also talked about the lamppost, so we can give you an update on that. I sort of just did. Update on the curb fixes, so we'll talk about that. I think that's on this, no, yes, that's on this month's agenda. Welcome to Darien signs. I don't think there are any updates on that, so we don't have it on the agenda. Future projects. No empty windows, actually we've covered that, that's fine, we don't need to review that. And then the subcommittee report, the Adopt a Garden report was a discussion that we should bring the subcommittee back into regular meetings. The relaunch letters will be sent out. Amanda and I can give you an update on that this month. The number 11 Darien Fire Department garden, I can give you an update on that. Finalize the new signs, Colleen's gonna talk about that today. Secretary, we will talk about that today. And additional new business. We talked about David Genovese sharing some information on landscapers. Alicia will give you an update on that today. And we talked about, actually last meeting, we had some great ideas about an Instagram poll, getting the town more involved, creating some campaigns, maybe getting high school art students to participate. So we can get into that today. So that's a review. So the next thing that, we should vote on approving the minutes as are, unless anybody needs to change anything. All right. First, we have Jackie and we have Melissa. Okay, first and second, thank you. We are going to, item number 3 is the treasurer's report. Since Tracy's not here, we're gonna push that to if she comes in. If she does not come in, she's going to email out the treasurer's report. She apologizes, she's involved in voting, so she's been a little busy. Okay, number 4, elect a new secretary. Elizabeth has been amazing,
Yeah, right.
but as our longest standing member, she has done her duty well beyond. And so we'd love to allow her to retire. And we need a new secretary. So we're gonna have to elect one today. And I wanted to figure out how best to do this. I have some ideas, but I don't know if anybody else has any ideas. And if no one wants to raise their hand, I think I'm gonna have to elect someone. And my thoughts are newest people. So anyway, if anybody else has any ideas about how to do it, I'm all ears. But I'm opening the floor. No? All right, I think you two might have to Rochambeau or something. Unless anybody has any other ideas?
How long is the term? Just because I'm about to be president of the neighborhood association, and so I'm a little bit burned out. Just for the next year, I've got this commitment.
The term, there's no limit on the term, but everything is open for discussion. We could rotate it.
Definitely not my specialty. It's not something I would have any interest in doing. I'm not reliable with email.
Sarah, I have a thought.
So-
Could you, or Elizabeth maybe, or I know Jackie used to do it, speak to like what, like, you're in the meeting, you're typing,
Right.
what's the commitment? What does
It's-
it involve?
Very good. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
That's a great suggestion. And do you want to do it, Elizabeth, or do you want me to?
No, one of you guys.
Okay, so I actually had written up, so I was the newest member last year and was in the same shoes as you guys. Not really so keen on doing it,
Yeah.
but I took over as secretary starting last year. And Juliet basically explained it to me. You sit in the meeting and you take notes. And if you don't catch anything, there is almost always, 90% of the time, a recording that you can go back and just double check. You type up the notes, you send them to the chairman, me, whomever is in that role, and they review them, just make sure. Then those notes get sent to a woman in town hall. That needs to be done within a week of the meeting happening.
Wait, Sarah, I'm sorry, don't you send it to her after they've been approved? Like, only after we approve the minutes, do they get sent to her?
No.
No. Yeah. If that's the case,
I thought
that
that's the
hasn't
way we
happened
did
for
it,
a
because
year.
I would do, when I took notes,
That's
I would
right,
give it
Jackie,
to
you would
Juliet,
send, and then we would.
then you
look
guys
at
would
it.
vote on it, and then I would have to send it out.
But that would be a whole month later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but until it was approved, it wasn't an official document, so she could have a temporary one, but it wasn't official until it's voted on.
Juliet never shared that with me, so that hasn't happened for the past year then.
Okay, like, so
Because I took over
did
from
these minutes
Jackie.
already go to,
Yeah,
No, so you have to, we have to communicate with each other, we have to approve each other, we have to send it into them within a week. But yeah, it's true.
They don't
It
post
doesn't
it
become
official until we voted
official
on it?
until we vote on it here. But
okay,
we haven't been doing anything wrong.
okay,
We've been doing what, Jackie's just saying it just becomes official.
okay.
Like last month is official now,
But do we
because
need
we
to
all approved
notify
it.
them, like if we didn't approve them this month, we need to notify them that they haven't been approved?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that we haven't done.
All right, so evidently there are a few.
So submit.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, I should go through there's a handbook on it, so I'll go through that.
Oh, I would love to see that.
Yeah, we haven't.
I'd love to see the rules.
But we seem to approve them every month, so it hasn't been an
Yeah.
issue.
Right.
Yeah,
Unless we didn't have a quorum,
Right,
which happens occasionally.
Yes.
so not to complicate it, but we send out meeting minutes, 1 week before, sorry. So you take the meetings in they take the notes, you create a minutes document, that gets looked over, and then it gets posted to town hall, and then in the meeting, it's approved. And I guess there's another step.
Then you send, like, because sometimes there's corrections, or at least when I was working for Juliet, there were corrections, a lot of them.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I only, then I would submit the final doc, which often vary quite a bit. It doesn't seem to be the case with these minutes. There's more,
Yeah, because we make the corrections between each other,
Mhm.
and then we send it to Lisa or
Mhm.
whoever.
Mhm,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then, send the agenda. The agenda needs to be sent to the town 1 week before the meeting. That's the other thing.
But you
I've
always
taken
send the
that, I've
agenda.
taken that over, because I'm basically, to me, that seems silly, because I'm already building the agenda.
Right.
So I've just taken that over. So whereas there are a few things, I've kind of just absorbed the ones that didn't, I'm already doing, I might as well do it, so I've absorbed a lot of those things. It's basically, I just don't want to be able to I just can't really take
meeting.
notes
minutes
during the
later.
meeting and
Wow.
running it.
Yes.
So that's the key thing, there needs to be someone who takes notes during the meeting and then types them up and sends them to me, because otherwise I can't do it all. I've ended up doing, some of the other things, and don't mind doing the other things, building the agenda, sending out the reminders. It's really just the notes during the meeting is what it boils down to.
Can I ask how much time it takes outside of meetings? Just
Not long at all,
Okay,
because
so-
I type them up, and then I go home and I look, and if like some sentences don't make sense, then I clarify them. And since I type them up here, I used to write them and then type them, and that was bad. It took me a lot more time. And so then I just send them to Sarah, and she just adds a few things, and then we send them to the woman in town hall. So I'd say, I don't know, like 30 minutes. But the thing about it is that, you really have to be committed to coming to every single meeting. But maybe most people are committed to coming to every single meeting anyway. It's not that big of a deal. It's just,
But someone will take them if you're not available, someone will take minutes.
yeah,
We always have an alternate.
yes. But Sarah's a really good chairman, so she takes her job very seriously, so she really looks it over, she sends the agenda, which is so nice, which makes sense,
Yeah.
because you're making the agenda. And so it's pretty easy, it's just,
How do you want to decide?
I don't know, I'm kind of burnt
I
out
don't
on
know,
secretary, to be
I'm
honest.
like, this is not a job I'm at all, like, wanting to embrace. You want me to plan something and I'm your girl, but like, coming to computers,
that's
like,
like
I
me.
can't even follow up on my kid's email, like, I just.
Yeah, no, but is there a lot of emailing? That's my problem as well.
No,
It's just
there's
brain
not a lot
space
of
for-
emailing.
It's just sending that thing.
It's if you
Just
come to
typing
the,
notes,
if you come to the
I'll
meeting
do
and you
it.
take notes,
Okay.
you just type them up and send them to me. It's kind of how it's broken down to.
Okay,
All right, sounds like we have a
I'll do it. But
volunteer.
yes.
Thank you very much, appreciate it, thank you.
Kirsten.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it, thank you. All right, so should we vote? Does anybody
Okay.
move to approve person? All right, Amanda and Jackie?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Item 5, Green Team Liaison Report. Colleen,
Okay.
how'd it go? How long was
Great.
it?
It was really interesting. I don't even know how long it was, but they had representatives from Parks and Rec, the garden, Darien Garden, yep, and the Land Trust, and Paula, who runs it, and she actually sent out this. It was very interesting. It was a report of the Long Island Sound, and granted, this is from '22, but it was the most recent one that they had. So it was kind of interesting because the water, like Scotts Cove, A-, Darien Harbor, B+, Cove Harbor, A-. So it was all about how healthy is the sound. So it was really interesting. They would like to start an ordinance of protecting trees in Darien. There's no committee that will protect trees. And I had suggested to them, because when I was out weeding a couple months ago, a lovely woman came up and said, it would be great to have awards for the best trees in Darien, right? Whether it's,
Cute.
it was really nice, because there are really beautiful trees in Darien. And I think Paula met some resistance from certain people in the community, but they want to become what's called a tree city. They said that they celebrate Arbor Day in Greenwich every year, and they plant a tree at each school, which was a really nice idea. And we discussed how Eversource had given out trees last year after they had taken some down. They gave them out at the train station, but unfortunately they were very small, and obviously trees take a long time
Yeah,
to
they were
grow.
like this tall.
Yeah.
I actually went and got
Okay.
them myself, and they all, and I'm like an avid taker-carer of plants. And so sadly, I don't think that was effective.
That's the message I took away from it.
Sorry, just to clarify, there was resistance to the idea of giving awards for best
No.
looking tree or establishing a tree commission? Okay.
Establishing, like,
Okay.
just protecting the trees.
Yes.
The Land Trust wants to do a recycling tour. there's a place in Stanford, it's spelled Gezellieg, not exactly sure how to pronounce it.
Faselic.
Faselic.
Is it someone's last name?
No.
Yeah, it's a family-run
Oh, yeah.
company.
It's Yvette Van Eyck.
Can I have your name?
They were in the Darien.
They were in the Darien? Magazine.
Yes,
Yes.
in the Darien magazine.
Yeah.
Colleen, the groups were Land Trust, Garden Club, and
I think it
who
was Garden Club, Parks and Rec was
Oh.
there,
Parks and Rec. Thanks.
and the Bird Sanctuary was
Oh,
also
okay.
there,
Thank you.
and that was it.
All right,
Bird
thanks.
Sanctuary. It was great. I'm happy to go to all the meetings. I found it very interesting. We talked a little bit about Great Island as per Brooke, who I believe is in charge of the land trust. She was sharing some interesting facts about Great Island, and I'm happy to be the representative and go.
I'll be your alternate.
Awesome, and you can both go, that's great,
Great.
so thank you. Yeah, that's
I
great.
think I just have to get on her email
Has she
list.
still not put you on it?
No, but that's okay. I can it's okay. I can reach out to her. And
Okay.
I'll get on it.
Okay, perfect.
So that's it. If anyone wants to look at the Long Island Sound report.
Thank you. All right, Alicia, do you want to give a report on social media?
Sure. I was just actually looking at it. So our Instagram just turned a year old. So over the year, we had about 30 posts and multiple stories promoting relevant events going on in town that had a connection to beautification. We've also, or I brought it up a couple times in the past, I noticed in other towns, they do different seasonal contests, like in Westchester County, a town did a contest, and it actually was sponsored by a realtor, and it was like I forget what they called it, but a front porch decorating contest, basically like your pumpkins and your moms, you could submit it, and the winner got a $250 gift certificate. And then, I'll just walk around with this, or you guys can look at it, but then I was reading Connecticut Cottage and Gardens, and Chopin has a wreath contest, and there's so many different, and you can flip to the next page. But I'm sure you guys get invitations to these wreath making workshops this time of year. And this sounds something that would be easy to execute here. So they've been doing this for 60 years. The Garden Club of Chopin sponsors it. The first year they had 44 entries. So it doesn't have to start big, but I think it's a way, again, to help get our name out there to the community, create community as well. I don't know what we could do in terms of an award. I think it's nice to have something versus just, you win first place. I'm guessing we probably can't use our own funds to make a monetary reward, or I don't know how that
Bragging
works. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been blasted all over
Yeah.
our social media. Just a question. Last night, the town of Darien sent out a post, I don't know if you all saw it, that said, these are the accounts that are run by Darien. Anything else that's not under these
Yes.
handles is not Darien sponsored,
So,
and we're not included.
okay, so I did not see that. I got an email yesterday that I did not forward out yet. It was
It's a
from Kate
post
Buck,
from
who
Town of
is
Darien.
the town administrator. She said there's been some confusion among the public regarding accounts that appear as though they may be official Town of Darien accounts. Please add the following line to your profile on your official account. This is an official account of the Town of Darien. We think this will help. And this, I haven't sent it out, so sorry, but this was sent to Park and Recs and us and a bunch of others. So we should be on the list.
Right, so we're not right now.
Okay.
I just
Do
wanted to
you
bring
mind
that.
screenshotting it or something? to
Absolutely.
I
send it
have
to-
it right here.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I
okay.
can reach out to her.
Okay, and I'm gonna forward you right now this email that I
Nothing's
got,
down.
Okay.
Alicia, so you can add it to there.
It's kind of frustrating that you have to add under the bio, this is an official account of the town of Darien, because there's so few characters you can write underneath, and I've used that to say what we do, that now all it will say is official account. Currently it says Darien Beautification Commission, responsible for the town's hanging baskets, adopt a garden program, and other actions that maintain and improve the overall physical appearance of Darien. I wonder what provoked them to
Yeah.
need to,
I don't know,
I'm guessing it was maybe campaigning related or due to
Maybe.
the timing.
maybe. The email I just sent you, if you wanna follow up, maybe
Okay.
just explain,
Yeah.
you know, you're doing that and find out, or, I think that's probably the best way. I don't
Okay.
know, I just received it without any
Okay.
background.
And then Sarah and I had been talking about updating our website. Elizabeth, do you remember when it was last updated? Maybe like 3-ish
Yeah,
years.
Probably 3-ish years ago.
So we had just talked about doing that. If anyone has any ideas, there's a couple photos on it, but mostly it's just a lot of words and
Yeah.
a lot of the content is great, but just, and I don't know what the limitations are with the platform they use, but just making it a little bit more engaging and current.
It would probably be communicating with Linda O'Leary in Town Hall, who whenever I need to make updates, like for example, you got, Melissa and Kirsten, when we need to have your names added. She just did that for me. And I just want to let everybody know, I hope it doesn't matter to anybody, we wanted to make sure it was consistent and we had addresses on there. And the agreement was, I didn't think addresses were necessary. It was a bit of a violation. So instead of adding your addresses, we took our addresses off. So now it's consistent with just names and you have to have your party and term, when your term expires. Took the addresses off.
Well, and the term limits on there, like I noticed for Melissa and Kirsten, they have different end dates, like one of yours says, I don't
That's
remember.
normal, it's based on the last person who retired.
Oh, it's not date you joined.
Right.
Gotcha, okay.
We had different dates and we joined all at the same
I
time.
knew that mine was like 2 months and then 3 years.
Okay. Yeah, one
Okay.
was like double as the other in terms of when it said, so I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're filling a vacancy
Yeah.
of the previous person.
So who's the
Okay.
next person to expire? Not,
we're all
not
expired.
literally.
Yeah, so I'm
Expired.
looking at it, it's Elizabeth, yours is expired since 2020.
I didn't even know about any of this. I just thought it automatically.
So I actually, if you guys wanna see, this is just a
Yeah.
printout of what's on the website. But we basically have 6 pages of data on there, but it's a little clunky looking, so if anybody has any interest in communicating with Town Hall and.
So does that mean we need to look for more members? Or no?
No,
No.
we're expired and we haven't done our new paperwork saying that we want to re-up.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
We have to do some paperwork, which we haven't done.
Yeah, which we haven't
Yeah.
done.
What, Jackie, do you know what you do? Do you basically refill out the application?
I did talk to Linda about it, and I think she gave me instructions. And I think I'm terrible at email.
Tell her to do auto renew.
Yeah.
Right?
I like an auto renew.
Yeah.
She said, 'cause, you know, people will want to know how long until there's a vacancy.
Right.
But I just wasn't sure, and she won't tell me ahead of time, what is the term? And it doesn't matter. She's like, when you're ready to go, you just
You just
go.
let us know.
You don't need to wait
Once
till
you've
your
done
term
your-
is
yeah.
up. You can just go. So, but we need to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you took the addresses off.
All right, so I'm getting the sense no one's like crazy about,
So
yeah.
to update the website, is it just meeting with Linda
I
to
think so.
say, here's some photos, and we still don't know if she can take more photos, or?
I think my opinion, open to hearing, it's kind of like the way Alicia runs social media. It's like we have an idea, just we've got a contact person who's in charge, and we can say, hey, let's update. And it's probably much less frequent, obviously, to update the
Who do you
website.
contact to put?
No, me.
So you have
So it's
total
more
control of the
autonomous.
Insta.
Yeah.
Right, but
Yeah.
we don't for the website, is that right?
Yes.
Well,
physically
yeah.
get the stuff on the website.
I think it through, I mean, is Linda the one actually like
So,
uploading content?
I think, this is where I don't know. My knowledge is very limited, so if anybody wants to get more familiar with it and just own it a little bit, that's great.
not
If no one does, we can live with what's there, it's fine, it's a little clunky, and I don't know that so many people are referring to it, but I'm certain, surely some people are periodically, so.
Well, I think as our Instagram grows, more
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
will go to the website.
That's the thought. It's not bad, it's just a little clunky. It could probably use a little bit of TLC, is my thought, but.
I was also thinking at our next December meeting, it could be nice to get a group photo. We don't have one.
That's a great idea.
And
Yeah.
again, that,
Not
That's a
one-on-one
good idea.
sweatpants.
both, yeah, to everyone as notice, to put both on the website and on the Instagram account.
That's such a
Okay,
good
If
idea.
everyone's okay with
So
that.
how often would you be thinking about updating the website? Would it be like every 6 months or?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, like
Uh-huh.
twice a year.
6 months or even
Or
every
even
year,
a year.
yeah,
Because you'll have new members
yeah,
often. So you should maybe every December you take a new photo.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's cute. Yeah, yeah. Jackie, you're showing
I would-
some interest here.
I would like to understand from Linda how it works before like putting my
Oh,
name down.
that's perfect. That
Okay,
is-
so
that
I'll
is
definitely talk to her about how it
Thank
goes.
you, that
You
is
could
terrific.
be our web manager.
That's not, yeah, we'll just keep it, you're our liaison, website.
Okay, that
You-
sounds
And
fun.
if you don't like it, you can back up.
I would offer to work with you in terms of like supplying photos, like
Yeah.
if you wanted me to like take pictures around and like share with you some of my photos. I could, but I cannot be responsible for content because it
That's
was like a
probably
2-year-old
more for
wrote it.
Instagram, cause
That feels like an
I'm thinking
Instagram
on
one.
there, we can probably have like 3 photos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, then I'll
And-
send you my pictures.
and Melissa, anytime you have photos, just share them and then we
Okay.
can just, yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's great.
Yeah, like it would be nice to have photos of your beautiful planters.
I did post
Yes, we have
those.
those.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, that was on Instagram then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to take those kind of pictures. I'm much better at social media than I am at anything else, so.
Relatedly, did anybody attend the bulb planting yesterday and have photos?
not.
No.
It was like, when did you notice?
I know.
Yeah.
We were all gonna go, but then it was like, you had 24 hours.
I
It was
wasn't in
just-
town,
I
I was
know.
like, yeah, I'm sorry.
That's my work.
And they set the time, correct?
Yeah.
Like,
Like
Yeah.
the day before.
yeah.
Yeah, so.
It's not loading.
Okay, well, that's all I
okay.
have on that. So what do you, I mean, I don't, again, we don't necessarily have to do this next month, but what do you guys think about some sort of like that, like a wreath contest? Even
love
if we can't have a
Well, then
prize.
we
Well,
asked
and I'm
Tracy
also
about
wondering-
funds. I do think
But
funds
everyone
will
then will
work.
submit their picture of their wreath and then we
Yeah.
just vote on which is the best
Well,
wreath
yeah,
and
we, and
pictures.
they'll post, we could post it and tag them. It's just like community
Just
involvement and engagement.
I agree, and I think as far as an award, either we dig into our little stash and give them $250, or we can't, and we see if maybe somebody can sponsor it, like maybe the chamber wants to just, I don't know, they
Right.
wanna give away some $25 gift cards.
That's what I was getting, like, even if
Yeah.
it's just, cause you're
Yeah.
right, it's really
Yeah.
not bragging rights.
It's
but if-
bragging
But
rights.
if you throw in like a $25 gift card to, you know,
Yeah.
a Darien town thing, like,
Yeah.
you know, that's a nice.
Well, that's what I think too, so.
I also think that we would maybe get one of the garden centers so lovely. I mean, they may, you never know.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and you know, we might even have, like, we could even get creative and partner with Alicia Sillers, who always does those wreaths for seniors,
Yes,
and maybe
that's
some
coming
people
up.
wanna donate, I don't know, you know, it
Right.
could, but I think it's a great community building idea.
Well, and I feel like there's actually some things, like, I feel that if we wanna do, it's hard to get the word out, but there are so many of these workshops coming up, like, I got 3 invitations last week, one was for the teens to pick up wreaths, another was a wreath making for the newcomers club, or I can't remember, and another one was Nielsen's is having one there, and then one at a club, so I feel like we could distribute like signage, like get the word out,
Yeah,
Well, Nielsen's is having one too,
Yeah.
and they might be an easy,
yeah,
you know.
and they might be, will give a discount on if you're gonna buy a wreath or buy ornaments to go on it or
So guys, the
something.
only problem is I did attend to be, I mean, for a person who's going to create and want to display, that's not where they're gonna go to do it. That, we may just wanna get the word out
Okay.
there. That's a very
Yeah, got it.
lovely, very
Yes,
lovely
yeah,
event, with super generic contents.
well, and formulaic, like.
Right, exactly, like everyone has the
Yours
same
and mine
one.
would look similar.
Different,
Yeah.
yes. And so if someone wanted to put their artistic creativity in it, it wouldn't be through that sort of venue.
Right.
okay.
When I think even if we have, I don't know, 8 people participate, I don't know, I feel like it's,
For the
Even
first
if-
year,
yeah.
just to get it going, and then as things go forth, it can be.
When's the deadline? They have to submit it? December 10th or something?
maybe, I don't know, the 15th or something, what do you think?
I think we're gonna be
You'd have to
decorating
notify
all
real
this
quickly
December
now
1st.
because
Yeah, and I'll reach out to Kesty about like a Chamber of Commerce gift card or something. I feel like they must have those.
Yeah, even if
Do
it's
you
just a
wanna run with
token.
this?
Sure.
Okay.
Does anybody wanna help me,
Does anyone-
Melissa?
okay. Great. Do we need to vote on that?
I
I
think
think so.
No.
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 I don't think so.
No, I think it can, we I think we just file it under social media.
Right.
Especially if we're not using our own funds,
Right.
I think you just file it under
Well,
our
Alicia,
social
I'm
media.
happy to like go out and
engagement.
proposition people for gift cards, like whatever,
Okay.
you know.
Love it.
Speaking of wreaths, Tracy had this idea too, that, the front door of Town Hall, you know how there's the big glass above the two doors? Like to get a gigantic wreath
Love
and put
that.
that up there, wouldn't that be
Love
nice?
that,
Ooh.
so
'Cause
beautiful.
Last year there were two wreaths, which was such a nice idea on each door, but every time anybody
Yeah.
like opened it up, then, you know, stuff fell down, it was like,
We
but
can
to
do
use
that. We
yeah.
can do that, well, if we have the funds. I'm
Yeah.
certainly happy to start doing that when I do the outdoor planters.
Well, I think actually we had approved to give you some money for the fall plantings and you didn't use very much
I
of
used
it.
like fraction, but I was gonna
Fraction of it.
review that when
Yeah.
I review my section.
So, yeah, exactly, so
So I
why
have
don't we,
a lot more money.
well, I was,
Yeah.
I mean, technically we were, yeah, so why don't we kind of lump that together, plant, like town hall front, like decoration, they can be wrapped into that, because you were gonna do wreaths for the urns, which we had already voted on and approved, so it could be wrapped into that, if you're good with that.
I'm happy to do that.
Okay, great.
I just would need someone to physically
Yeah, well, we
attach for me.
Probably
Yeah.
Public
We
Works,
will have
you
to
know,
talk to
ladder.
Public Works, because they probably for legal reasons.
They
need
actually
that.
both came out and introduced themselves to me, and I have them in my phone and said that
Good.
if there was anything any of us ever needed,
Good.
please to let them know.
Good, good,
They were
Nice.
very lovely.
good,
Yeah.
good, that's great.
I was just gonna say on this, to your comment about if people are referencing the website because they're interested in perhaps joining and they see that basically all of us but one are like have expired terms. I don't know, is there any like risk to that? Should we all update it or?
Why don't I reach out to Linda? Question, does everybody want to stay on and be renewed? If you don't, reach out to me. So I will reach out to her and say, we'd like whomever is interested in being renewed to be renewed, and then we can get it updated, maybe. Or do we want to do it individually?
Well, maybe if you could just share what we need to do.
Okay?
Right.
Okay, let me do that then. I'll reach out and ask Linda, what do we need to do to renew? And I'll get back to you guys. I'll email you the information. And we'll do that. Okay, good suggestion.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing it.
Anything else on that topic? Do you guys want to move on to a report on weeding and pruning? Is there any updates this one?
Oh, sorry. Tracy and Juliet and I did a lot of weeding and pruning on Friday around the circle and then on the, the two hills. And there's still one little section on the hill that's very, closest to here, on the Mather side that I need to finish, so. When you look at it and then you see a bunch of scraggles, I'm getting to it.
I helped out with that on Friday. as
Oh, okay,
But
sorry
I was
Colleen, I was already
thinking
gone.
that, I was going to approach somebody about power washing the flagpoles out front. They, I think it might be Ed, I'm not sure, but they really could use some
Great.
TLC.
Maybe at the same time, well, no, I guess maybe they wouldn't because it's a different, but yeah.
I don't
Do
know
you
the
mind
last
reaching
time.
out to
No,
Ed?
I'm going to.
And just-
Well, he
Let
did
him-
tell Sarah and I that November is their quietest month and that this is the time to reach out to them with things like that, so I think it could actually be good timing.
Mhm.
He's out for a couple weeks. Do you have Darren, I'm sorry, I don't know Darren's title, but he's
Oster,
Ostafine.
oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
may be mispronouncing it. Do you have his contact?
don't.
I'll send you that.
Okay.
It also is possible you could put the request in through the town of Darien, the public
Oh, right.
request
on the
form.
Website.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It might just make it's just one more avenue, maybe do both,
If you look at the flagpoles, they're gray. It's
Okay.
really.
yeah. That's a
It'll be
great
too
idea.
cold soon, right, to power wash?
That's right,
So you have
exactly,
like a
so
narrow
you
window, I
do,
know.
you do wanna do that now with water. Okay, thank you. Town hall planters, any updates? I know you did a great job.
So, thank you, the update, I don't know what happens here, but do we talk about what the budgets are and stuff like that?
We can't, except Tracy's, like
Well, that's
our
it. I just wanna let
treasurer.
you know that I think I was allotted $1,500 and I spent only $419,
Yay.
which is great.
Mhm.
Like I told you guys, I had no idea I've never planted those planters before, and the ilex in the middle really helps kind of take up a lot of the girth. But I think that for Christmas, we'll see how much the wreaths are. I did reach out to the wreaths across America, those are not gonna work for us. So I think we're really gonna be looking at, I'm gonna try to go to wholesale and I'll price it all out, but if we're comfortable, obviously I'll keep the price low, but we'll do wreaths and then I'll do greens and berries in those planters and then source the big wreath. Would that be good?
Sounds great.
And I'm thinking the first week of December,
I like it.
unless anyone feels differently.
Good, that sounds good.
It's great, thank you.
How much do you think you can get the wreaths wholesale?
So, that's a good question. I haven't been to wholesale this year. Last year they were not cheap. And I don't like I said before, I'm kind of new to like paying attention to how much these things cost. Because I've usually just done it for myself. If you guys would prefer, I can put together a price sheet and we can choose, or if I can just make an executive decision. I usually go to Stu Leonard's or I go to East Coast Flowers in Norwalk. And those are kind of like,
Do you know what size you'll buy?
so this one I think I'm gonna measure, I think it's 30 inch. Because I like it, I want it to drape a little bit over the edges and then fill in with just like straight greenery.
So maybe they're like 60 each, I don't know.
Maybe, even maybe a little less, maybe like 45 at wholesale. Because, sometimes you don't wanna get the ones that are just like basic evergreen, because those are so boring. You wanna get the ones that have like a little bit of the, I forget what that stuff is called, like the sagey stuff in it. And they're just a little bit more expensive.
I feel like Melissa knows what she's doing and she doesn't have to come back and ask us, is this okay, is this okay?
I agree, I think
Yeah,
in terms
I
of
agree.
efficiency,
Yeah, especially if
Yeah.
it's already in a member.
yeah.
My commitment to us is to do it for the least
Yeah.
money that
Yeah.
I can.
Right.
That's great. Prove that.
I have a source of a wreath company that I bought my wreaths from for years,
Great.
and
What do they charge?
I just looked at, I actually asked them to send, for the small 37, large 1 to 30 inches, Connecticut, let's see. They used to drive it down here from Maine,
Whoa.
but now they ship.
What were the inches we were thinking about?
30.
30 was the, okay.
And then I think for the front, we're gonna need 50, 60.
50 or
They
60.
they only do 24 inch and 30 inch,
Okay. And
How much are
what
their
are,
30
what do they
inches?
have in them? Are they just like basic greeneries?
just basic green, but they are thick, they are
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Mhm. So then I would take stuff and decorate from
Decorate
them.
it yourself, which is much better,
Okay.
but they are like a stunner.
Why don't I pass you my email?
Yeah. I'll just,
Terrific. All right, move on. Tracy's not here, so let's see if we can circle back to hanging baskets. What I can tell you is she and I went out and counted what we thought we need for the new area at Corbin District, and we were communicating with David Genovese's group over there and got the count on that, so we've increased our count. There was some question about Tilly Pond, because that technically falls under Park and Rec, but we pay for it. But I guess that was an agreement that was made a long time ago, because they can't, so that's going to stay under us, because it looks beautiful, and so that's still under us, so nothing, no change there. So, I'll circle back with Tracy if she doesn't come today, and we'll just have to email about where baskets stand.
So how many more do we need? About? I'm just curious.
We calculated, I think it was 20, 25.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Alicia, are there any updates on curb repairs?
Yes, so I reached out to Public Works, because I'd noticed two by me, the Nearwater Post Road and Hollow Tree Ridge Road and Post Road had been repaired. They didn't do an all-around repair, like on Hollow Tree Ridge Road, they did half of it, and then on Nearwater, same thing, I think they did like 3 sections. So I had reached out to see if they were gonna kind of unify the old with the new with like a fresh stripe of yellow paint. So the response I got was that yellow lines around islands at Hollow Tree Ridge Road and Nearwater, My understanding is that there was a double yellow line that was split at these two islands. If that's the case, those lines will be restored as well as the stripe around the island. Unfortunately, that will not happen now. If we have a warm day and an opportunity to paint, we can get this done, but we can't paint in cold temperatures. If we do not have the opportunity now, we will shoot for spring, so that will be spring. I am told the other 3 islands listed below have all been repaired with asphalt curbing. These locations should be complete. Please let us know if this is not the case. So I haven't gotten a chance to look at those. The other 3 were Old Farm Road at Tokenique Road, Middlesex Road at Mansfield, and the Norotan Heights train station parking lot. So if anyone passes by and notices,
Can you say that again? Sorry, a
yeah,
little slower.
Old Farm Road at Tokenique,
Oh,
so
yeah.
in front of the school.
Yeah.
That one was really bad. Can you?
Will you check that out? Or I can
No,
check that out
but they
too.
redid, like all of a sudden it got like cleaned up, and I didn't know who did it.
The curb
Oh, the
is
curb,
fixed.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll have to look.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't.
The
Like, have
other
it
one
look at the
is
curb
Middlesex Road at Mansfield.
I can look at that. Oh, actually, I know that one's a mess. In fact, do we own that one?
Yes,
Oh my god, you can't even see the sign.
yeah.
Everything is too high. That's a mess.
If
But
you're
it's the
near
curb.
there getting your kids from school, will
Every
you look
day.
at the curb
For
and
sure.
see?
I'll check it and email you guys.
And then I'll look at the Norotan Heights train station
Okay.
one. So anyways, his response was that they had all been done and just not yet painted.
Sorry, near water doesn't look done to me.
So I thought the same thing, and now if you look closely, they did like maybe 3 like 18-inch sections, and then parts they left, I wasn't sure why, cause it's not just the paint faded, it's like crackled. So I was not.
Like there's no buildup. There's
Yeah.
no sort of cement.
Correct.
Buildup.
It's like there is, you'll notice like a black asphalt slope, but the parts that they left and didn't replace, I'm not sure why. So when Ed is out for 2 weeks, I can speak to him about that. So maybe in the spring, when they're going back to paint it, they can, I don't know.
Let's keep pushing. I
Yes.
think it needs to be done properly.
At least, from a integrity perspective, these were not plantable because it was like, especially the Tokenique one or all of these, it was like dirt on the road. There was no border at all. So there is improvement, but,
Okay.
so anyways, Ed's supposed to reach out to me when he's back in about a week. And then last meeting, we discussed the new signs getting replaced. They're pretty much all up now. I had mentioned the one when you're exiting from the northbound on 95 at 11, how they put the sheet metal sign on the wooden posts. That's another question. He's gonna check in with me when he's back because it doesn't work. So I'll follow up with you guys next month on that as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Melissa, last month we talked about like future projects and talking to Sandy Garnett. Did you have any headway there?
Yes, I did. I
Oh.
spoke with Sandy Garnett. He's very, very willing to work with us in any capacity we would like to work with him. He wanted to know if we had any ideas. So where we left off is I branched off and I looked at his website. And I think that the difficult part was that I didn't personally identify with any of his art. I didn't really see how his art would fit in with our town. That's not saying he couldn't, I'm sure he's a very talented artist and he could kind of do whatever we thought. He does one section, which is like a love section, which is kind of fascinating, if we painted a mural somewhere. But a lot of his art is super contemporary, a little bit out there, and I just see Darien as just a more traditional town. And so really he was looking for me to tell him exactly what I wanted, and I didn't know what to tell him. And so we just left it that he wants to help. I was gonna look at the website and bring it back to you guys, but there was not even one piece of art on the website that I could come to you guys and say, I love this, and I think we should put this in our town. Now, I have seen art in other places that I love. There is, and I'll send it around to you guys when I get home, there is a fountain. It's of 3 ballerinas. They've got umbrellas as their skirts, and it's a fountain, and it's in the middle of a plaza in, I think, Germany. Like, obsessed with it. No, that's like a serious piece of art, you know, or then there's murals, like I said, like we could put like an 06820 underneath the overpass. I think that brings a lot of town spirit, but that's not what this guy does. So I wanted to bring it to you just to solicit feedback from how much time you want me to spend I can't do it myself in terms of like deciding for our community what type of art, you know, we need.
I think that sounds to me like it's a major project, so I'd say almost let's shelve it, we've got a lot of things, I appreciate you reaching out, that's great. I think it's a good idea, I think we have, first of all, so many hurdles to get over, one of which is that isn't even our property. So, number one, and number two, I completely agree, we need to be like 100% sure that we would get positive feedback, so if we don't feel that way, let's not probably burn any more
Very good.
minutes, in my opinion,
Yeah.
on that. Let's focus on, I like some of our smaller ideas and projects, and go that way. I love the idea of the 06820 in that space, or whatever, but
I do too, I
But-
think it would be super fun, but I do think it's something that we could do with the children in our town,
yeah,
the high schoolers,
Yeah.
or
I like that.
and I'm certainly willing to reach out to whoever owns those spaces. I could take that under my wing and say, may we paint these? I don't know, I could figure it out if it's something we wanna look into, but that doesn't require us paying thousands of dollars to somebody big. That's more of just like a community situation.
Great, thank you for doing that. Does
Is that
everybody else
something you would
agree?
like me to do?
Yeah, I've been doing some calls just because of my own neighborhood association stuff, and some of my our stuff is on the Coast Road, which is actually a state of Connecticut road,
Oh,
so
great.
you'll find yourself making a lot of calls to like the DMV and all that kind of stuff, but I mean, if you're up for just, maybe not the DMV, this DOT or what, Department of Transportation, that's right, sorry. Either way, it's a lot of regulation stuff because these are big roads, but I mean, if you're interested in the call, I don't think I have a problem with like if you're like wanting to go down the rabbit hole just to see, because you're right, we probably could find an art student to do this really cheap and it's just, you know, clever and whatever, but yeah, I feel like until the adopter garden gets off,
We can put
doing,
this
like,
till next year, I mean, it doesn't,
That's great.
it's just
Yeah.
somewhere to start, so what
That's
would you
great.
guys like me to do, or just wait till next
Let's
year?
pause,
Just
let's
wait.
get our adopted
Okay.
gardens done.
Or
Let's
maybe
get-
as a part of the garden next to the fire station, there could be something there.
Yeah, so I'll give you an update on that, or should we jump into that?
I'm gonna run to the leaves.
Sure.
Yes, because Tracy's not here to discuss Elder.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
So I'll give you guys an update on that, which is, last month, I guess it was, I met with, actually it was Melissa, I mentioned this, Melissa said she had a mason. So I met with him, she shared at the meeting last month, I met him there. He was so cute and great, full of ideas. He's like, I see lights, I was like, no. But then I reined him in and brought these ideas to Ed Gentile, and then did some research on who owns that town. It's owned by the Department of Transportation, that little lot right there. But Ed said that he thought that he could, if we came up with a proposal of improving the site, he could present it and we might be able to get it done. So,
Sorry, who's it owned by? DOT?
the DOT,
Oh, okay,
the
thank you.
Department of Transportation.
Thank you.
And when you say own, does that mean they actually own, like they pay taxes on that land, or what does own mean?
I believe it's almost the exact same way the adopted gardens belong to the town of Connecticut. That plot of land, which is between the fire station and Mechanic Street parking lot, that is Department of Transportation property. So just like along the train tracks or under the bridge.
wait, you said town of Connecticut, did you mean state of Connecticut or town of Darien?
Sorry, State of Connecticut,
Just a-
Department of Transportation, thank you.
No,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah, yes.
They don't pay taxes, they take them.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why
So they must
So-
own that because
They-
of its adjacency to the train, if they ever needed to like store equipment there and if they're doing repairs or.
I don't know why it would be theirs, but if you go on that
Yes.
Mass Geo,
Yeah, I have it right here.
and so I've created a document, which I'll share with you guys, where I've measured and highlighted the space and all that. And we're now in the process of pricing out 3 different scenarios. One is just redo that exact same spot with new pavers and new benches. Another option is to, you can see my really special drawings. And then another is to work in just some paths into that space from the street so that it's more united. And then another is to make it really nice, which I don't know that we'll be able to make that happen, but I'm working on getting the pricing right now for all three options. We'll present that to Public Works, see what they have to say, see if they can get through to State of Connecticut, Department of Transportation, that contact, I think it's the highway supervisor that he communicates with, and see how much we can get done.
And we
So-
would fund it, right?
Or just plants? Are we just plants and their pavement and benches?
I am hoping that we could either get a capital, yes, so we could either get a capital campaign, like the town would pay for it, yes. But it wouldn't come out of our regular budget. We have to get, we don't have the budget to do it. We would have to get funds to do it. So I think if we had Public Works also saying this is a good idea, I mean, quite frankly, it's a hazard, like
Yes,
the
it
way it
is.
is now.
That's
So
right.
I'm gonna go that angle, like
It is
it's an eyesore and it's dangerous. And it's a piece of land that could be so much better used. So if the town can spare some money to improve this space, and it's, by the way, in the middle of town, like people walk past there all the time. There's a bus stop there. It's like at a busy intersection. I just feel like it would add so much value. So I'm gonna push that. So I've already I'm already working that angle, but we're still early stages,
Yeah.
so,
But we would do plants, right? Removal of dead trees and,
yeah,
It could
yes,
almost be
yes.
fully excavated,
So there are,
right?
pardon?
Almost fully excavated.
Yeah, I don't know how much we're gonna get approved to do that. There are 2 trees which are nice, which gives a very nice shade. There are 2 really ugly pines that I don't think we'll be able to remove because they're very tall and they block a lot. There are a ton of wires that intersect there and a big communication box. There's a fire hydrant, there's a lot happening in there. So my thought was keep the 2 beautiful trees, well, no, I wouldn't call it beautiful, but keep the 2 trees that provide nice shade. Clear out all the other mess, and maybe, I mean, one of mine has a little fountain in the middle.
Oh, I love fountains.
Don't know
Me
that,
too.
I know, don't know that that's gonna happen, it could be a bird bath, could be a fountain, could be just a space, but I've been taking photos of various public gardens that I've seen, and I've put them in the document as examples. I got a bunch of examples of benches, different styles, and so we'll see. And I noticed actually in that area, there's a lot of brick and concrete, which wouldn't be top choice, but it would fit in with the area. And it's what they've actually done in the Corbin district in that new little garden that's at the corner of Corbin Drive and Old Kings Highway South. If you guys drive past that corner and slow down, I don't know who built it, I assume David's group, Baywater Properties, but there's a nice little garden in there, I have lots of pictures of it.
Wait,
And they
I'm sorry,
used-
where is this? Is this like on the?
So do you know where Wee Mondine and Darien Cleaners is? It's on the new buildings.
Oh, right down through the center
If
of
you,
that little road?
yeah, if you go from Post Road towards Old Kings Highway
Yes.
South on
Mhm.
Corbin Drive, at the very end there, they've built a little
Oh, cute.
public space with
Yeah.
3 benches and it's not an obelisk, but there's some kind of stone feature in the middle.
Mhm.
And it's
They did a
lovely.
really good job,
They did a
yeah.
really nice job,
Walk
and they've got
around.
a lot of brick down, and I'm assuming brick is much cheaper than flagstone or than bluestone. So maybe we could replicate that kind of look.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm in the
Okay.
pricing phase right now. So, a few more phases to go, but, so that's that. Moving on, status of Elder Garden cleanups, hopefully we'll come back to that, but it doesn't look like Tracy's coming. Should we jump into Adopt a Garden?
Yes, so we just covered number 6 on your agenda about the fire department one. So I'm gonna
Yes.
pass this around, this is item 1, timeline and deliverables. So what this is it's a sheet showing kind of working from today and until getting these gardens planted, so, I'll wait till everyone has a copy before I keep speaking.
This is awesome. With the dates on it.
Thank you. Just for some project management and just drilling down and getting a little bit more specific. Okay, so where we are today in October, since our last meeting, I met with someone from ELM, which is Eastern Land Management. So they were recommended to us by David Genovese. That company manages all of his properties. So they have a ton of experience in projects such as ours. For instance, they do all of downtown Stamford's planters, gardens, hanging baskets. They've also previously done some work with the New Canaan Beautification League. One interesting thing I learned is that the downtown Stamford, I'm blanking on what they call themselves, but basically their beautification efforts is privatized. I think they have about 5 full-time employees that run it. So it's a private company that gets funding from the Chamber of Commerce, and he wasn't sure where else but to keep that spruced up. So I met with him and we went to some gardens. He had a lot of great ideas and he understands what we're trying to do, that we are, all of the initiatives that are important to us for the look we want to have, the amount of money we can spend, being a public organization, but seeking out sponsors who are willing to fund it. So he's going to come back to me pretty soon, probably next week, with a proposal, and he's going to do it both by garden and collectively, because understanding that these gardens aren't going to all get adopted at the same time, so the price that they would charge for both installing new plantings and maintaining them would, be on a rolling basis. He also had the idea of, we looked at gardens that were small, medium, and large, of kind of rebranding those as, now I'm blanking on, gold, silver, bronze. Not only in size, but also in planting. So if a sponsor really wanted to zhuzh theirs up and get, fancier things, then they could be like on a gold program for that. So that should be coming to me in about a week. So here we are today at our November 11th meeting, so through late November. Another thing we need to be doing outside of a meeting is creating a draft list of businesses to solicit in January as prospective garden sponsors. So on this sheet, I've got the month, the deliverable, the person or persons responsible, the time commitment, and then a check off if it's completed. So all of this building towards actually getting this project to completion. So, that's simply, and we do have a very old version from many months ago, but it's basically like sitting there and typing a list of businesses in town that you think would actually be interested in this. And even I have a good friend who's a realtor, and she was very interested because, you really get a lot of daily exposure to your market, especially some of these locations. So that's one thing that we will need someone to sign up for, to put that list together. And then from late November to December 12th, like I mentioned, I'll be getting the installation and annual maintenance proposal and pricing back from ELN. At our next meeting, or in the meantime, I'll pass that around so that we can all review it in advance, make any modifications, and then decide whether to mutually accept or decline. And we can do that actual acceptance or vote on that at our December 13th meeting. So at that meeting, we'd also review the business list that someone has put together the past month. And it just can be names. You don't even need to do
I'll do
addresses
that.
or phone numbers. Okay.
I'm happy to put together the business list.
Okay.
And at some point, within the past year, I had already started that. I went to the Chamber of Commerce and looked up a whole bunch of businesses and just started typing them in a long list. So I'll find.
Forward it to me.
I will
If
forward
you
that to
do, but if not, yeah. I
Yeah.
have a friend who's
I
on
mean-
the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have an active list.
Exactly. I think that, exactly. And
Yeah.
that might even be better than what I had, because I just started putting together business
Yeah,
names, but they
yeah,
didn't have
I'm happy to
contact.
do that.
You want the ones with contact numbers.
And I also wonder if you just reached out directly to the chamber too, and to like the Realtor Association.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then maybe they could also, like, there's probably already somebody who's made a list.
Yeah, so rather than do the work, yeah, I'm happy to take on that.
Thank you. So at our next meeting, we'll review the proposal, we'll review the business list, we'll kind of in a review proposal, discuss updates from December modifications, negotiations with ELN. We'll also next month need to finalize the pricing to publish to sponsors, so, if it costs X to install it and X to maintain it, and we had previously agreed to like a 3-year sponsorship terms, what are the year 1 costs, year 2 costs, and year 3 costs to pass along. So that's something that we need to do at next month's meeting. We'd also need to just take another look at the sponsor packet details regarding anything we want to add. And then I also think next month we should set goals for initial sponsor onboarding, the number of garden installs that we'll do in the spring and April. So we have 16 gardens. And I have updated that based on Jackie finding a new one and then finding out that one got paved over, but again, we can discuss this, but just next month, but think about it, I was kind of thinking 6. I don't know, like how many to expect that in
I would
April
expect 6.
we're ready to plant. So
Yeah.
think about that, because I think it's good to
No,
kind of
why?
set a goal to work towards. So following our December 13th meeting for that following week, just finalizing the packet, getting it really ready for post-Christmas to distribute, and then I put blackout dates of 12/21 to 1/9, because no one's gonna be able to do any commission work during, those 2.5 weeks of the holidays. So then, when we circle back in January for our meeting on the 10th, through mid-February, that's when we need to actually print the packet, deliver it to previous sponsors, deliver it to new sponsors, and also we need to create and maintain a record of sponsor interest. So, like Melissa, if you make a sheet that's just now at this point one column on an Excel spreadsheet with names, then we could add to that dropped off packet check, followed up with them interested, yes or no.
I know this is so crazy, I don't even have Excel, but I have like the Apple version, so I'll just put it in, I think it's probably convertible.
Yes, it
Well,
is.
what about
It
the
is.
sheets? Then you
It
can
is,
Yes.
if you wanna send it to me, I know how to convert it.
Okay,
It's
sorry.
just a drop-down box, but I can do it for you.
Yeah, or if it's shared, because again, this is
Yeah.
so big, it's gonna be a whole commission thing, so there's not gonna be just one person reaching
Yeah,
out to
exactly.
like 50 businesses, so it could be nice for,
A
people
Google
to go
document
in
we
A
and-
can all
Google
share.
Doc would be better than,
Okay, I can
yeah.
figure that out.
Okay,
So then, that's from mid-January to mid-February, then we have our next meeting on February 14th. So from that date to the end of the month, we need to get updates on the reactions from businesses during that time. So if businesses are getting the packet, let's say around February 1st, I think giving them a month to kind of mull it over. And then again, ongoing record maintenance of sponsor interest. Then in the month of March, where it says March 1st to April 9th, and the reason it ends on April 9th is because we're meeting on April 10th. But we need to follow up with the sponsors and actually secure sponsorships.
you have to go.
Sorry,
That's
I
okay.
have to go. Go ahead.
Garden
Would you like
sign,
to start trying to take notes?
or you can watch the video.
You can always watch the
there's
video.
It's almost over anyway. I
Yeah.
just have to teach a class, so I have to.
Don't worry about it. You don't even have a pen. Don't even worry about it.
Garden sign manufacturing will be happening on a rolling basis, ongoing record maintenance of sponsor interest, and updating the company we're working with on the sponsorship statuses so that they can, begin their purchasing process. March 13th meeting is just updates on all of that. Then the April 10th meeting to May end of month, that's when we'll complete the initial installations of sponsored gardens, install signs. For the unsponsored gardens, we can schedule Elder for an April cleanup, which would be our first one of this spring season. And I think discussed and approved this last month, that we should mulch the unsponsored golden gardens to keep the weeds at bay and also for them to look nicer. So I know Tracy was gonna build that number into her budget for him.
Gotta make sure she does that as well.
And then you'll see for summer and fall, it's the same thing, ongoing installations of gardens that become adopted. Having Elder, last year we had him do a cleanup in April and August, but we need to do one in between. So probably April, July, and then end of August or September. And then another thing is, I discussed this with the person I met with from ELM, and then I noticed it in Westport recently. On all of their Welcome to Westport wooden town signs, they had corn stalks on the side of them, which again those are so inexpensive, and it's just like a nice seasonal touch. And ELM, they do that currently for Stanford. They'll go into the gardens that are just at this point dormant and green and add in seasonal touches like that for the winter holiday season as well. So what we need a name next to all of this stuff, or I think we're gonna get in the same pattern of a standstill. And I think right now we're in a really great spot to actually get these gardens initially adopted starting in April or May, whenever it's safe to do the planting. And I would hate to see that slip by and slip further again. So I know, Melissa, you signed up to create just a draft list of businesses.
Yeah.
The next thing we need, and this is for mid-January to mid-February, we need, and this is probably gonna, I'd say maybe 3 people. We need people to actually deliver the packet to previous sponsors, and this can be over email, but I also think in person is huge for this.
I'll also do that too.
Thank you.
Wait, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Do you have any sense of how ELM does their budget? Like, did you give them any guidelines, or was it just tell me, you know, and is there any kind of back and forth after that, or is it just they have a one-time proposal and we say yay or nay?
No, they'll be back and forth, and I emphasized to him that we are a public organization, but the gardens will be 100% privately funded by sponsors, but that also, an amount sponsors are willing to pay. So he gave me some like back of the envelope in a couple gardens of what he thought, could be kept, what would need to go out. But he's going to give me 3-tiered pricing for every garden. So that, again, if you're trying to get, like if I'm a realtor and I'm gonna sponsor one, that's different than if I'm Van Leeuwen's or, the Corbin District or whatnot.
Quick question,
yeah.
print sponsor packet, that's something that needs to be done like, through like a legitimate printer.
Kinko's or is,
Yeah, and we'll pay.
Does Kinko's exist anymore?
No, I don't think so, you know, FedEx or whatever, but yes,
Right,
yeah.
so- okay.
Yeah, and we'll pay for that, we just have to get a receipt and then we'll.
I'll
pay
do
for
that.
Okay,
I'll
so-
put my
so
name next
Alicia,
to
you'll do that?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question on the November 11th before we get away from this
Yes.
meeting? I'm just wondering if it is gonna be dormant, and I know that they're not like, just weeds or whatever, I know they're like as attractive as they can be right now. But if it's gonna be basically dormant from this meeting until the installation in the spring, and then even then, we're kind of only shooting for 6 of them, I'm wondering, does anyone think it might be interesting to like pay for an inexpensive sign, and it would definitely cost money up front, but just to say like, new Adopt a Garden program coming soon? Like, just to kind of have people be
So
like,
cute.
because I'm also wondering, like, there's something about buying, it's like when a realtor sells a house, but they like kind of say like, you could paint this ugly color a prettier color, like just to kind of get people.
It gets interest.
It gets
And
interest
it gets
and-
people thinking
And
about it.
also
we
it
could
kind
put
of
our
shows
link on the
like,
bottom.
it's gonna be
Sure.
better
Put it on
than it is
Instagram.
A handle.
now,
On
so like this is
Instagram,
something.
put it on Instagram.
Yeah,
I
we
like
put our
it.
hands on the
Now
bottom.
almost
Oh,
like an
Colleen, what do you
election sign,
think
like
with,
that
could we do a
quality.
sheet metal one?
Yeah, oh yeah, exactly, like
Those
an
are
election
really
sign, like one of those,
inexpensive.
or like,
They were
like.
$40 to $55.
I think
That
this was
sounds
like
like
a
a really good use of
campaign
money.
sign.
The prices are just.
Maybe like a
Oh, like that's, maybe we could do.
Well, like those signs that they did for like, graduating 8th grader.
Yeah, exactly.
Home Depot,
Yeah.
those were like $25
And those lasted
each.
forever. I
Yeah.
saw some for months.
Oh no, they last forever because they're actually made of plastic,
Yeah.
even though they look like cardboard.
I like the
But if we
idea.
just had that up there, it might be a good way to like get the buzz out and to let people know, like, by the way, it looks okay now, but wait till you see what's coming.
I love that idea.
Okay,
And a lot of
does-
these new stores that are coming in, they're gonna be the ones that we're gonna wanna target, cause they're gonna wanna advertise right away.
Exactly.
Whether it's a restaurant or another nail salon or whatever it is.
And in that
Alright.
case, we only need 16 of them.
Right.
And those, I feel like I bought one of those ones for like 5th grade graduation.
Totally.
They were
I
like
bought one.
$25. They were
Do you want
not
me to
20.
ask signs of success?
Yeah.
I feel like.
Well,
Wait, so that
Well-
was 16, and I think there was add 2 plus and 2 minus.
Yes.
So we ended up, and then, but 4 of them are already, like Sarah's
Is
got one, and you've got the town hall, and then, right, there's,
Is the
David
fire-
has exit 11, and then.
Well, that's, he's going to take it. But what do you mean Sarah has one?
No, I mean, Sarah's working on Mansfield and Post, she's working on that specific
that-
garden. I don't know, yeah, she was.
that I have down as,
You mean in terms of Sarah adopting it?
Well, or I don't know, I mean, are some of these already adopted, like, I
But
don't
I
know.
think that's okay either way because it's still gonna get its zhuzh up, it's
None
still
are
gonna really.
adopted,
new
and that's
adopted.
probably a good chance for you and Amanda to speak. We wrote, I can pass this around as well. Sarah and I wrote a letter last month to send out to sponsors that, I don't even wanna call them current because they have not paid in years, but to send to the last sponsor on record informing them that this program was changing. But we don't have any that are adopted. I think there may be some like landscaping businesses that were told to do it years ago that still do it and bill for it, but I think that's probably like 3 of them.
Okay, wait, so David is not taking on,
He will, but not until the spring.
But it's not through Adopt a Garden, it's on his own?
No, it's Adopt a
No,
Garden.
It is Adopt a Garden.
We just don't have pricing to tell him, we have, so
it's key to
we've
get
had
that pricing
verbal
in.
conversations, but we can't, that's what this whole thing is building towards actually saying, here are the options, this is what it costs.
Because he put in irrigation, correct?
He will, he's
Yes.
talking about it.
That seems like a commitment.
Yeah, but he wants to do that on his own cost
Right.
and pay for the water and do all that. He was just planning to do that anyway, because he wants that garden to look good no matter what. So I think he would, I know he'd like to take on that garden. But
Okay.
your question, Jackie, your original question was basically to the 16 garden locations, you think there are more, so we should
No, I
probably
don't.
nail it
I don't
down.
think
No, we lost
Okay.
two and gained two, so
Okay,
net it
so,
out.
because I have a list,
How many do we actually have, yeah?
I have a list that has 16, and that's
Yeah, I sent that
That's
to you
what you
last
sent
month,
to me.
yeah.
exactly, and that's who we found contacts for.
And did you guys distribute the letter to
Yeah, should we
them?
jump into that? Yeah, so
Sure.
basically, we've built a spreadsheet of the 16, you'd sent over the information, and we basically found all the, whether we had a person, contact, a name, an address, a phone, and email. So we don't have all of that for everyone, but we had a balance for some. So I emailed everyone that we had an email for and sent them a letter. And Amanda sent out a physical letter for everyone that we had a physical
Hand
letter.
signed them all.
And hand signed them all and everything, and got them in the mail.
Got pretty stamps,
She
garden
paid for
stamps.
her stamps. And got those in the mail. And, well, Amanda can share.
0 responses.
Oh, no.
So nothing.
Maybe we should have sent them with, what is that thing you put on when you like,
Certified mail.
A magnet.
certified mail?
There's no way to reach you on that.
Through the
letter.
email.
Yeah, as an email.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't so surprised that there
And
was.
also my return address was on there.
Okay, yeah. So I thought we'd get some email responses or something.
Dead.
Not like, no one even responded. One email got bounced back, actually.
Well, there's not too much to
But-
say, because if you read the letter, it's basically informing them, like, look, many years ago you adopted this.
What
Yeah,
happened to you?
and it's changing. And
Yeah, and
it's
you haven't
changing.
paid, you didn't adopt it for eternity, like, you
Yeah.
know, with one payment and then you're good for forever, but,
I think if we don't hear back from any of these, we just start new,
Yeah.
yeah,
and that's more exciting.
yes.
Who wants to see the same
Yeah.
sign that we've been looking at?
Well, and that, maybe Sarah, you can shoot that to Melissa, just to add those places onto her.
Yes.
Only if they
Yeah.
have contact information.
Yes.
But a
yeah,
lot
it's
of
on there.
them, again.
Oh, you mean the previous sponsors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, when we looked back, and this program has failed twice, I think, in the past 10 years, and one of the main reasons was independent maintenance, which is why we've sought out collective professional maintenance, and even someone beyond elder, like what happens if elder decides to do something else or moves, you know, you really need like a company maintaining these. And also the sponsors, I don't know that a lot of these were the right sponsors, like people that are, you know, really invested, like, again, I'm overusing this example, but a realtor, right? Like they want the town to look good because they are marketing it to people and, or like Amanda just mentioned, all these new businesses. So I think now, from the last time this program had its last iteration 5 years ago, we have, I mean, I don't even, maybe 200% more businesses in town. So I think there's a lot more sponsors that are a better fit.
Mhm. The only thing I was just, when I was reviewing this, because I haven't looked at it since we did this, is that I noticed that Locust Hill Road at Old Kings Highway South, near the I-95 underpass, that was recently replanted. They ripped out everything in there and they put in 3 or 4 new boxwoods and a bunch of grasses, and it's all cleaned up and looks really nice.
I can't place this.
Okay, so if you are, actually what we just described, if you go down Corbin, if you come off the post road and you go down Corbin Drive and the new shops are on your left and the construction's on your right, and you go down and you get to that little corner and you take a right and you go under the highway, there is a garden right there before you get to Locust where you can go right to Goodwives or left to,
Is
you
it
know.
under the highway or just
Just
it's
past
past?
there.
I thought
Just
it was
past.
past.
That
Janet
just
did it.
got replanted and
Probably
it's
she
the
did.
growing concern owns it. So we sent them, I sent them an email and actually you sent them a letter,
Growing concern, is that one?
the growing concern. And we haven't heard back from them. So that one I think we need to call because they've actually been investing
They did
money into
something.
that.
That's the one you mentioned to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that one's actually, they might, and in the letter, their letter got customized. All the letters were slightly customized. That one got customized. If you're interested in bidding out for the landscaping job, please let us know. We haven't heard back, so that might need a little bit more follow-up,
Yeah.
just because they've invested money
Yeah.
recently.
Well, I love this next step of doing, I don't know what anything really about signs, but whatever it is, like these election type quality signs.
So cute, such a great idea.
I mean,
Wait, I
I would.
have a question on that for just 1 second, because Colleen could run and find out pricing on sheet metal, but it's gonna be more, and it's gonna be more time. Or do we just, because it's gotta get printed and all that, or do we just go with the school, like
I
8th
think
grade?
those are sufficient,
cheaper.
and they're only, if we put those up, I think we need to do it, I'd say if we're delivering the sponsor packets in mid-January, almost at that same time, I mean.
All right, so should we elect someone to run with that?
School, okay, so school, like,
Is it
Like-
like frozen, or can you get it in there?
Like, I think we get it
Yeah.
done soon.
Yeah,
I think
because
we
I
should
did
get it done
it in
sooner.
March for, those little like happy birthday signs, you
Yeah.
just need a rubber
Yeah.
mallet, cause it's a metal post, like an H made of metal, and you just go boop, 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 and then you stick it on, because those signs are actually like, there's a word for it, like
Foam.
perforated or whatever. It's not foam, because it stays,
Yeah, that's right, they have
there's
the
like
indirect,
little,
yeah, yeah.
it's made of, actually, it's two pieces.
They're literally
little-
right here. Have you guys seen these ones right
Yeah,
here?
yeah, the slow down in towns, yeah,
Oh,
those
okay, there we go.
things. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, corrugated paper.
Corrugated, thank you.
Yeah.
So it's those signs.
Okay.
Are they too big though? That's my question, and are we gonna have an
That's too
issue
big.
from Public Works?
That's too big.
Well, that's a little large, I'd
That's
say
big.
like, again, the size of the graduate ones were probably half that, like, I don't know, maybe 11 by 16.
I don't know.
They're about that size,
Okay.
kind of smaller.
Well, I'm sure there's smaller size options.
The other thing is that this metal could theoretically be cut right here, and we could have 2 H's. So it would sit lower to the ground, so it
Yeah.
wouldn't block
I'm
Public Works.
thinking there's different stand sizes. I was referencing that more for like material, that we don't need to buy sheet metal, that we can use
Okay,
something else.
I agree. It's a temporary thing. It should be able to last.
Yeah.
So, is it for 6 gardens?
All of them.
16,
It's for all 16.
but I do think it has to be smaller than that.
So what's
And-
the-
and
Yeah, I mean,
also-
I just Googled it and they're cheap sign, I mean, I don't think we need to go to the cheap sign place, but it says 84 cents each, like, I don't think this is a
Oh.
huge investment.
No, yeah.
So, if they're selling for 20 for a fundraiser, then they must not be very
Maybe
expensive.
they're 10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and they're in bulk, so ours we can
Yeah.
work it.
So if we wanna put those up when we distribute the sponsor information in mid-January, that probably needs to be worked on, just what we want the sign to say in addition, I think just something simple and bold, like, yeah, I have no idea, coming soon, our logo, adopt me, something like that.
I think it should say adopt me, not coming soon, because that would insinuate that it was already
They wouldn't
owned
act on
by
it.
somebody.
Yeah,
So, or you
okay.
would say something like, you know how like on the signs it says
Adopt.
like your
Yeah.
name here,
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
or like, like your name here, and then, contact at Darien Beautification Commission.
Yes, but I think there should be something about like that this is a reboot, so you don't think you're, like, again, going back to the analogy of selling a house that's a weird color.
Right.
And they make it like, you could visualize it like this, so like, something about, new beautiful gardens or garden reboot or,
That's a great
so they know they're not buying the old garden that might need work, they're buying something that's gonna be even
Yeah.
better.
Something that catches their eye, some slogan.
Yeah, so let's think about,
Who wants to run with us? Does anybody want to run with this and own it?
I can get pricing, but I'm not creative when it comes to coming up with a real clever slogan to say.
I'll
adopt
place
me.
them. I'll come up
Yeah,
with
I
design.
place it. Well, I'm
You
just
design, I'll
trying
place them.
to, help me come up with a logo.
So the three of you.
Look
Look
Yeah,
at
let's
you,
do it.
everyone,
Yeah.
three heads put together. All right, okay. All right.
so then at our next meeting, I guess we could review and finalize or add in any
Yeah.
quotations to put on it.
I just don't know where to source the signs.
I'm gonna
FedEx.
ask, yeah,
I
I'm gonna
think-
ask,
okay.
I feel like I bought them from the depot sells them for graduations, like I can just figure out where they purchased them.
I would check with UPS in town, because
Oh.
they made our Darien Beautification sign, and they have a whole catalog
Okay,
of options, and FedEx, I would start with those two. And
okay,
if they don't have them, then maybe, or if you talk to someone, find out where they have them
yeah, I'm
made.
gonna ask, cause that's the depot. I have to go, ladies, so I'm just gonna show you these quickly here, I'm not jumping out of line, but, so these are PVC, these are from Signs of Success. Not the color, just like, these are the shapes that I think we used to have. And they would charge us for the drilling of the holes, the wood, whatever you call them, and then to put them into the ground. However, the pricing is continually going up, just so you know. It's not gonna be the same, I mean, and then this is just a bigger sign, not the color, nothing like that. These, because some of the gardens can handle
Yes.
or tolerate a bigger sign. So they take this and they laminate it on so that it's weather resistant. And we just have to decide which gardens can have a bigger size, if we want them all the same size, if we want to go with this company. They seem to be the most responsive quickly. Like I've
That's
reached
nice.
out to East Coast Signs, Signorama, which you had recommended, they were great too. This is Signs of Success, and I'll figure out
And
the
then the original,
detail.
who did we go with?
Alpha Graphics.
Yes.
And,
Are they still in the running?
I don't know, I haven't reached out to them in a
Okay.
while.
And this was
so-
vinyl,
Pardon me?
this is vinyl on PVC.
Yeah. I haven't reached out to them.
So, do you wanna know which shape we like better, or do you wanna know,
I don't know, I mean,
like
we can
size, like if
figure-
it's a bigger garden, make it bigger, or should make them all the same size?
I just was just bringing it in just to show you
Yeah.
the shape. If we want to go with a different shape, you know, this is the PVCs.
Do they have a website that shows stuff like this or no?
I don't think so. I mean, if you go in there, they have every sign imaginable, and it's right in Stamford. I can ask them if they can give us some other options, but
There's nothing wrong with those shapes. I think that the top shape, like, you know, those Welcome to Darien signs, they're so lovely. So that top shape, it looks very lovely when it's hung from above, whereas that bottom shape looks okay if it's
From the
planted
ground.
from
That's right.
below.
That's true.
So I think that in order to like keep our costs low, we wanna look at something that can be put from the bottom up rather than having a post come down. So I think that even though I love that top sign, I think that eliminates that shape for us.
I thought so.
Okay. So
Yeah,
we'll
and I
go-
think having the white sign and then all these signs look so nice now with their blue lettering, the navy lettering matching the lettering. I wonder, I guess, could Kate tell us like what typeset they use, like what the font was?
It's definitely asked, yeah.
Cause it'd be nice if they look kind of connected.
And that's kind of probably gonna weigh into your formula for gold, silver, bronze.
Yeah.
Like I imagine location,
Yes,
size.
size, yeah.
I do think you're at the building cleaning, if you're gonna do white sign, you're gonna need whoever's maintaining the gardens to clean them, because it's really dirty.
Oh,
Yeah.
into it, yeah.
Well, and I think they can do that even when they're watering, even if it's just like hosing it down, which I know is not the same as power washing, but that's a good point.
Go ahead and test them, they're dirty,
Are we going with navy
I think maybe lettering,
and a white sign.
yeah, cause we had agreed that the dark green gets lost in the green of the garden.
Yeah. Great, perfect. I have to go, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do too, unfortunately.
What
Oh,
is-
next year, oh wait,
Hold on,
yeah,
enter
yeah,
and
we've got
garden
more on.
adoption by DVC members, that's the last one on this.
was it?
Number 4, that's the
Oh,
only
yeah,
one we haven't covered.
yeah,
Sorry, I jumped.
Jackie.
Yeah, I mean, we might wanna talk about this next week, but I think we were worried that there might be some neglect between the time, now and when the gardens get officially sponsored and developed, so, the thought was, are there people who wanna take some of these gardens in the interim? And I thought, I'd be happy to take near water, and Colleen and I talked about doing hollow tree.
Did you prune near water recently?
So, it's funny, my daughter said, are you gonna kill someone? There's a shovel in the back of your car with trash bags and scissors, and I was like, no, I'm gonna go clean your water. And then when I got there, there were 3 guys there who were cleaning it up. So I said, could you
Good,
just,
do my job.
there are 2-3 things I was hoping you could help me with, and they said, no problem. So they just fixed it. I was literally ready to go.
winterized. I thought maybe you did it.
No, but I thought, they must be still interested. We should make sure we keep in close touch with that.
Yeah, they were on the list, right? Foster's?
Yeah, I think we need to talk to them.
Yes. Yeah, theirs was the one that got rejected. Wait,
Oh.
whatever.
Oh, like bounce
So we need to
back?
find the
Yeah.
contact, because
Yeah.
they're
Should be
interested.
They're one of the very few that has been seasonally, like they mulched it in the spring.
That's right.
Yes, okay, that's right, so Foster's, they're the one that got bounced back.
Okay, I think they're
So try to
interested.
find them.
Okay, gotta call them too. Okay,
Because I know that Elizabeth and Tracy also felt that we could handle some of the maintenance.
we've gotta vote on the dates before everybody,
And I
before we
have
lose a
2
quorum.
thoughts on that. On the May date, I saw you added it. I do think we should meet, because historically we have not met in May, and I remember this summer it made us really far behind.
Yeah.
So I think even though if we're doing basket assembly, we should still meet, which
Okay.
you have in here.
Okay,
And then my other thought is you have the meeting at its regular falling date of August 14th. We canceled that the past 2 years because everybody was away. So can we move that to 8/28, like when everyone's back? And otherwise, we just won't meet in August, which again, I think put us behind.
works for me, what do you guys think?
Yep.
Yeah?
I'm classically away the last week in August, but I know you can all
It's
function
okay,
without me.
yeah, exactly. All right, well, we need to vote on that, so I can turn this in.
Yes, that's fine. If I
Yes.
am gonna be the secretary, there is a good chance I will be like 3 minutes late to every meeting because I'm a client who's always on time.
Well, do we wanna move the meeting 9:15?
I mean,
Sure.
9:05 we can do. I just.
Do we wanna move the meeting?
That's
Then
better
you're
for me
not
because my kid gets on the bus at 9.
Oh, well,
So-
do we wanna, yeah, so
9:15 works.
9:15?
9:15.
Okay,
9:15 is
moving
better.
to
Give us
for
15 minutes.
2024 to 9:15, great.
Okay.
All right, I need someone to, okay, Jackie and Amanda, all right, we're, it's been approved, all right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right, thank
This
you,
is
thank you.
So, here.